after nearly 10 months of playing with it. Yes, you heard me right. I'm inviting my parts to come out of hiding, and there is nothing filthy about it. If you saw my last musical reflection on Alanis Morissette's Empathy, you might understand where I'm coming from with this. Because that song that I had never heard before really hit me very harshly and in places where I needed the biggest kick up the booty. Just the very first line. There are so many parts that I've hidden and denied I've lost. I literally did the whole shocked Pikachu face. Because it encompassed everything that I had been thinking about myself for the past 10 months or so. And the weird thing is, even though I've been sat here, or stood here, or wandering about, whatever, I've kind of been struggling with the whole concept of how to, shall we say, invite those parts out. And I didn't seem to be getting anywhere. I kept exploring bits, but I never seemed to reconnect with them. Now, recently, as you may have seen, I brought a load of my books home from the UK. Vast collection of things that I had left behind, that I had shed. And it wasn't a deliberate shedding, it was, what can I actually afford to take with me? What will I miss most? So I cut those bits off. Thankfully, a large proportion of those books have been kept and saved by my delightful parents. Actually, mostly my mum. In her own words, she said, there were thousands of pounds of books, I couldn't just give them all away. Thank you, Mum. Anyway, in that vast collection of physical pages, I found and rediscovered a load of gems that I'd forgotten about. Some of them were early furrows into alternative spirituality and mysticism, early looks at Wicca and Eastern spirituality, so chakras, yoga, things like that, and just basically other esoteric approaches to love, life, faith, finances, work, loving, healing, and health. And while I'm not claiming any kind of belief system, I am reclaiming my ability to shape my own thoughts on things. And I will cherry pick from all of it. Because I don't think any one approach to life and all of those things can be governed and frame every single person. I don't think anything can do it. But there are certain parallels within different ways of looking at life. But anyway, thing is, I never approach anything in what you would call a traditional sense. I will literally cherry pick my way through every single idea and theory, or not even theory, because that implies science, and we're not talking about science at the minute. But I never belonged to any groups or anything like that. I didn't proselytise, because that's one of the things I hate about most organised religions. Proselytism is just wrong. I think, what's his name now? George Carlin had it right when he added a commandment: keep thine religion to thyself. But all of these things, I try to integrate them into life as I was expected to perform, and it never really worked, so I let them fall away. And right now, I am rediscovering everything that I loved about them. But I'm also approaching things from a position of, I know what I know. I know that there is science, and I'm quite a big proponent of science. I do listen to science. I do my own research. Preferably looking for corroborating stories. And specifically looking for the outliers. Because sometimes the exception proves the rule. But yes, I'm inviting all these pieces of me out to play again. So I'm reading a lot. I am reading an awful lot. I think I've got about 7 books on the go at the minute, all from various different sections of my life. 2 of them are art books. I deliberately went looking for art books because I have serious problems with hands and feet. But I've also picked up, excuse me, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Not Julia Child, a completely different person. I am going to try very hard to work my way through that one because, well, I don't appreciate the big bearded bloke being mentioned every verse end. I do like the approach. So I'm going to try and stick it out. It's 12 weeks. I will probably fall at a few hurdles, but ho-hum. So yeah, I am inviting all of my parts out from where I hid them. I think the best way to describe it is hiding them in the attic. Somewhere up here. The back of my brain. All those little things. And while I was doing this, I am going to introduce you to my little stack of oracle cards. There is nothing spiritual about them. These are essentially my pick and mix. Because I brought together all the things I wanted to dive into, all the things I wanted to talk about, and all the things I wanted to discover about me, life, the universe, everything. I've been on this kick for a while now, and I've learned very little. I'm going to learn more. So, these are all the parts of me that I am inviting out to play. I'm actually feeling very energized by it. Petrified, but energized at the same time. Fun times.